5th grade, welcome back to grammar. This video is for May 8th. Today we're going to continue with prepositions. We're going to look at prepositional phrases. We're going to do a workbook page together, and we'll also check the worksheet that you did last time. But before we get into that, I wanted to share a couple of verses with you that were on the worksheet that you did last time. And these are both from Genesis. The first one is Genesis 45, 7 and 8. And this is in the story of Joseph. And remember when his brothers came to Egypt to buy food, and it took them a couple trips, and then Joseph finally revealed himself to them. And this is what he had to say to them. And God sent me before you to preserve for you a remnant on earth. So it was not you who sent me here, but God. He has made me a father to Pharaoh and Lord of all his house and ruler over all the land of Egypt. So on your worksheet, it said that God uses people to do his work. God used Joseph to preserve the Israelites during that time of famine. They were able to come to Egypt. They were able to get food. And Joseph assures his brothers that he knows that it was God's doing for him to be there. It wasn't always easy. Joseph went through a lot of trials, didn't he? But Joseph had a good attitude about it, and he knew that God had a purpose in sending him there. And then he had to assure his brothers again after his father's death. They were a little nervous. They thought, oh, maybe now's the time that Joseph's going to get revenge on us. But again, in chapter 50, verse 20, he assures them, he says, as for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring it about that many people should be kept alive as they are today. So Joseph is saying to his brothers, even though you meant something for evil, God used it for good. And so even the difficult situations in our lives, we know God can use for good, and he can bring about his purposes and his plans through his people who are obedient to him and willing to do what he asks us to do. So I hope that's an encouragement to you today. All right, let's take a look at prepositions again. Remember, you can use the list in the back of your book to help you if you haven't quite memorized all of those yet. So I have some sentences here. I want you to read them along with me, and we're going to pick out the prepositions in those sentences. The first one says, on his second missionary journey, Paul preached in the Greek city of Athens. All right, what prepositions do you see in that sentence? See if you can pick them out with me. We've got on, and we have in, and we have of, don't we? All right. 3 in that first sentence. Let's look at the second sentence. Paul stood on Mars Hill and told the Athenians about the unknown God. Do you remember this story back from our study of Acts? Paul went to the city of Athens. They even had a statue to the unknown God because they didn't want to offend any gods. They didn't want to leave any out. Paul said, oh, I know who that is. And he told the people about the one true living God. He told them about Jesus. So we have the prepositions on, and we have about. On and about. Okay. And the last one, Paul preached about the Lord of heaven and earth, and he preached about the day of judgment. Okay, do you see some prepositions there? All right, we have about, we have of, we have about again, and we have of again. Are you getting the feeling that of is used a lot? It is, isn't it? All right, so here are the prepositions from these sentences. Now what we're going to look at today are prepositional phrases. And I know we've talked about these before, but remember, a prepositional phrase begins with a preposition and it ends with an object. The object of the preposition is a noun or a pronoun. To find the object, find the preposition and then ask yourself who or what. So in the first sentence, on his second missionary journey, we ask ourselves, on what? On journey. So that tells us the whole prepositional phrase begins with the preposition, ends with the object. Okay, the next one, in the Greek city. In is the preposition. In what? In the city. Of Athens. There we go. Okay, and then the next sentence, on Mars Hill. On is the preposition. Hill is the object. About the unknown God. About is the preposition. God is the object. Paul preached about the Lord. About the Lord of heaven and earth. So we have two objects here, and that's okay. You can have two objects. He preached about the day of judgment. A lot of prepositional phrases. Prepositional phrases add interest and detail to our sentences, so it's always good to add prepositional phrases. Now, if you have a long prepositional phrase at the beginning of a sentence, you need to put a comma after it. So as you see in sentence number 1, on his second missionary journey, comma, Paul preached. So we put a comma after that. And so as we look at our workbook page, we'll go over some more instruction about prepositional phrases, and then you'll get to do some practice with them. Okay, let's take a look at the preposition worksheet that you did last time. Number 1, inside. Number 2, with. Number 3, through and of. Number 4, from and to. Number 5, about. Number 6, over. Number 7, above. If you need to pause the video, take some more time to look those over, please do. Excuse me. Next, you had to fill in the circle next to the correct sentence. Number 8, you should have chosen the second sentence. Number 9, the second sentence. And number 10, the first sentence. And then the paragraph, you should have found 14 prepositions. On, across, up, behind, beside, in, above, to, through, for, with, under, for, on. So go ahead and stop the video. If you need to, check your answers on that. All right, let's take a look at today's workbook page. We're on page 271. And let's just review a little bit. The object of the preposition is the noun or pronoun that follows the preposition in a sentence. To find the object of the preposition, say the preposition and ask the question, what or whom? Look at the example. The ancient Greeks believed in many gods. So in is the preposition, believed in what? In gods. A prepositional phrase begins with a preposition, ends with the object of the preposition, and includes all the words between them. Prepositional phrases are identified with parentheses. Now, I always like to teach it this way, and I'm not an artist, so you're just going to have to use your imagination here. But let's pretend this is a slice of bread, okay? And here's another slice of bread. So this is going to make a sandwich. Okay, not the most attractive pieces of bread. So the first slice of bread is the preposition, and the second slice of bread is the object of the preposition. And then anything that's in between, you know, maybe you have a little bit of lunch meat, you got a slice of cheese, those are adjectives. Now, sometimes you have pretty boring sandwiches. You just get 2 slices of bread. You just get a preposition and an object. but sometimes you get some adjectives in between there too. So let's take a look at these samples. In ancient Greece, the highest part of the city was called the Acropolis. So in this first prepositional phrase, the preposition is in and the object is Greece. Ancient would be an adjective. See, that's our little sandwich there. And then the second one, of is the preposition, city is the object. Remember, it has to be a noun or a pronoun to be an object. The is the adjective. There you go, another sandwich. And then also important to notice is that you will never find the subject or the verb in a prepositional phrase. So it's always helpful to identify prepositional phrases first, put parentheses around them, get them out of the way, because after you do, then if you're trying to find the subject and the verb and other parts of speech, then you have those prepositions out of the way and you don't have to worry about them anymore. Notice the simple subject and verb are never located in prepositional phrases. A comma follows each long introductory prepositional phrase of 5 or more words. The introduction may contain more than one prepositional phrase. So that's like the example that I did on the board. When there's a prepositional phrase at the beginning of a sentence, it's an introductory phrase, then you put a comma after it. So here's an example. Above the city of Athens. Okay, that's a prepositional phrase of 5 or more words. So we put a comma. Above the city of Athens, several ancient buildings stand on a hill. So we have 3 prepositional phrases here. Above is the preposition, city is the object, of is the preposition, Athens is the object, on is the preposition, and hill is the object. Every time you see a preposition, it starts a new prepositional phrase. You can't have 2 prepositions in a prepositional phrase. So above the city of Athens would not be one prepositional phrase. So above the city is a prepositional phrase. We have a new preposition. Now we've got of Athens as a separate prepositional phrase. Okay, I hope that's becoming clearer to you. Let's take a look at the guided practice. They want us to put parentheses around each prepositional phrase and then underline the simple subject once and the verb twice, and then insert missing commas. So again, they're telling us to look on page 355 in the Grammar Handbook for a list of common prepositions. So if you're still having trouble remembering the prepositions, go ahead and look at page 355. All right, number 1, the ancient Greeks built beautiful temples for the gods on the Acropolis in Athens. So let's look for prepositional phrases. Every time we see a preposition, we're going to have a new prepositional phrase, right? The ancient Greeks built the beautiful temple for the gods. Okay, there we go. On the Acropolis. There's another one. In Athens. Okay, there we go. Now we have those out of the way. We need to look for the subject, the simple subject, and the verb. So who or what is the sentence about? It's about the Greeks, right? And what did the Greeks do? They built. Okay, there we go. Number 2, the Parthenon was built in honor of the goddess Athena. Okay, can you find the preposition there? Think of that rabbit in the box. In, right? In what? In honor. And then of the goddess Athena. Okay, so now we find the subject. What is the sentence about? It's about the Parthenon, right? And the verb was built. Very good. Got the helping verb was and the main verb built, was built. Okay, number 3, it sits high above the city. Do you see the preposition there? Yes, above. The rabbit could be above the box. And what is the subject? It, yes. And what does it do? You're right, it sits. Okay, number 4, it was built between 447 and 432 BC. So our prepositional phrase here, between 447 and 432 BC. The subject, it, and the verb was built again. Number 5, today the Parthenon is famous for its magnificent columns. So prepositional phrase, for its magnificent columns. And the subject, Parthenon, right? And the verb is. All right, very good. Number 6, it is also famous for the marble statues and carvings inside the temple. So we've got for as a preposition, so the prepositional phrase would be, right, for the marble statues and carvings. We have 2 objects. It's famous for the marble statues, it's famous for the carvings. And then the second prepositional phrase, inside the temple. Okay, and what is the subject? It, right? And the verb is. Okay, good. Number 7, at different times through the years, the city of Athens was conquered by other countries. Okay, see any prepositional phrases? Yep, at different times through the years by other countries. Okay, so we've eliminated a lot of words. Okay, what's the subject? Oops, I think I missed one, didn't I? Yep, you probably caught it before I did. Of Athens. Sorry about that. Now we have even fewer words to worry about. So what is the sentence about? Yeah, it's about the city. And what did the city do? It was conquered. We don't have very many words left to choose from. Okay. Number 8. The temple served many purposes depending on the rulers of the city. Okay, so what prepositional phrases do you see there? Yep, on the rulers of the city. Okay, so who or what is the sentence about? Yes, it's about the temple. And what did the temple do? It served. Okay, good job. Number 9, at one time it was used for a Catholic church. Okay, see a prepositional phrase? At one time, right? See another one? Yep, for a Catholic church. So who or what is it about? It, and the verb was used. We only had 2 words left. Okay, last one, number 10. During the Turkish invasion of Athens, it became a Muslim mosque. Okay, do you see some prepositional phrases here? Yes, during the Turkish invasion of Athens. Okay, good. And then, oops, I'm falling down on the job. We'll go back and catch the commas after this. And the subject is it, and the verb became. Okay, so we were supposed to put in commas. So do you see anywhere we needed to put commas? Remember, if there's a long introductory prepositional phrase at the beginning of the sentence. All right, I hope you spotted it. Number 7 needs a comma. At different times through the years, comma. And the one that we just finished, number 10, also needs a comma. during the Turkish invasion of Athens. Okay, very good. I think we got it all now. So there was a lot to do on that page, wasn't there? All right, well, let's take a look at the directions for page 272. The first part, you're going to do what we just did, put parentheses around each prepositional phrase, and then underline the simple subject once and the verb twice, and put in missing commas using the proofreading mark. And then again, they're reminding you to use page 355 for a list of prepositions to help you out there. And then apply and write. They would like you to expand each sentence by adding at least one prepositional phrase and write the new sentence. So remember again that when we add a prepositional phrase, it gives more detail, more information. So I eat peanut butter. You might want to say, I eat peanut butter in my beanbag chair. I don't know. I eat peanut. That wasn't a very good sentence. Couldn't think very quickly. I've got a better one. I eat peanut butter on wheat bread. There you go. Okay. So you go ahead and finish those. I'm sure you'll think of some really good ones. Number 14, ice cream is good. Put your book bag away. The cat ran. I completed my homework. Okay, so make sure that you add at least one prepositional phrase and rewrite the whole sentence. Okay, thank you for watching this video and working so hard. You're doing a great job.